Hey traders, welcome to another YouTube live covering BTC and its price action. Like always, we will start from the bigger time frames and work down. In this video, we're going to be quickly covering the monthly and weekly and then dive into the daily. There has been some bullish pressure and the price did appreciate to around 10.1-ish, or 10.2, I guess, at this point, looking at the current price now. But let's dive into the monthly. Quickly talking about what we currently see within the market and what we could potentially see in the near future. Always good to look back and take a step back into the bigger time frames. So we have a very similar structure back in 2014, 15, 16, and 17. We're looking like we're currently kind of at this zone right here before basically 2017, where we have the shift from a bear market to a consolidation to a bull market, and we have a similar structure here where we have a huge bull market, we have a bear market which consolidates, making lower highs and lower lows, and then we hold a level where the price does not make a lower low. This is a previous level of resistance, support, and then it turns into another level of support, as well as our ascending curved trend line is going to create confluence of that support zone. But we see that the price did not make a lower low, and then we see it made a new high. This is a new high, and then this is a new higher low. Because this is a low, it held a previous level of resistance, and then it held two touches for a new level of support, validating it as a dependable zone. And then we made a move to the upside, making a higher high. We made a move to the upside, making a higher high, and then we're making a current. We made a current lower, higher low. We see that right here. This was a higher low of the ascending triangle, and then we made a higher low after the bottom of the descending channel, where we see the resistance and support, creating a descending wedge or channel, whatever you want to call it, a squeeze in price. And then the price held a nice level of support and then pushed up. Now the question is, will we hold our horizontal zone of resistance that we held back in the middle of 2019? We also see it's a key zone within the chart back in 2017, 2018, within that major bull run there. So it's just the question of, are we going to hold and then create a potential ascending triangle, which then we would potentially see again a higher low and maybe even a third higher low to validate this zone as a key level within the chart? Or we're just going to straight breakout and go beyond the 11.5/12K range and then retest and then continue on towards our bullish move, because let's just talk about this price. So the price action pattern right here, the ascending triangle and then the descending channel, these are continuation patterns towards the upside. The question is, did we already break this zone and now we're going in a bullish continuing momentum? We could see a pullback like we saw here. I am still having that in play in my mind, but the current area where we are is sort of, for me, the last area that we could see that pullback to this green support there. If we're going to pass it, I do think we're going to see a significant amount of buy volume come into the market, because passing the 12K mark and seeing the bullish momentum come into the market would definitely give it a lot of validity, as well as that being in line with the BTC halving of 2020, which would create a lot of hype and a lot of buy pressure, super dependable zone, because we really only have this zone as two touch points. We have the anchor point, and then we have the first level of respected zones where it's holding as a resistance. So I would ideally like to see the price hit this zone one more time to have an increased level of dependability at this area. And the second zone we have is also using that same anchor point, but then we have many candle closes at this level within this range right here. If you look a little closer, you see that the initial candle closed type A right there, and then also closed as a type B, and then we saw a massive wick to the upside, but then it got beaten down by the bears and then closed below the open significantly. So that was a significant sell pressure there. And then we also saw a candle closure within that exact same zone when the price came back up at this zone here. So we see two candle closures very, very close together. And then to top it off, we see a nice rejection from that 40% move up from the $7,500 zone. So that for me signifies a key level within the chart that we can use as a new level of resistance, which because it broke it now is going to be a structural support. And then we can also combine this with our horizontal zone because we can see that that's a key zone within the chart as well. And now we have a level of confluence that we know that bulls are going to be located. And then we have our next key supply zone, which also is a level of confluence. So we now have this gap within the market that could potentially give us a solid trade. So now let's talk about the daily. I did put this ascending trend line in there, the white one. It wasn't in the previous one. I don't have it on any other charts, but I just wanted to show a potential level of a resistance that we're able to see right now within the chart. Now this daily candle was a little closer to the line of a type B, but now let's talk about the flow of the market on the daily with the CME futures exchange. So we've been seeing very, very clear higher highs and higher lows. This is a high, this is a low, this is a higher high, this is a higher low, this is a higher high, this is a higher low, and now we're seeing a higher high. This could have been a higher low here with that nice wick to the downside, but we will see. We are currently in a zone of confluence for a resistance area. Initially, it's this zone right here. We see resistance, resistance, and then resistance here. And all along the chart, it's a pretty key zone of sensitivity. So then we can assume that that's going to be a level of sensitivity in the future. And then we also see this ascending zone of sensitivity both as a support and resistance. Very, very significant rejection off that zone right here, off that resistance right here. And then we see it as a potential level of a resistance again, and the price is basically right below that area. So we have two trend lines. Well, we have one trend line and one horizontal zone that is acting as a resistance for the price right now. That doesn't mean that I am looking bearish. It's just levels that there could be a wall of asks, a level of supply there that could be holding the price from making a higher high, although right now it does still look pretty strong. So just wanted to outline that on the daily. And then on another daily chart, not really looking at that ascending trend line, but looking more at the two trend lines that we talked about on the weekly chart. So we have two dailies there because the daily chart is definitely a significant chart to be looking at. So what we're potentially seeing is a gap from zone to zone. That's what we like to do. So this is our initial zone right here because of the level of confluence from the horizontal zone and the descending zone. And this is our next level of confluence where we have the descending zone and the horizontal zone both acting as a level of resistance. So we're currently looking like we have a lot of buy pressure, not in terms of in volume, but looking at the candles, we can see that there is a lot of bullish candles and there's not a whole lot of selling going on, and we're seeing very, very clear higher highs and higher lows. And overall, it looks very, very healthy of a trend, and I'm going to continue with that trend because I'm not going to try to short the very, very top because obviously it has not worked in the past. I'm not going to be doing that. I like to follow the trend and look at continuation patterns towards the upside. So Bitfinex is a little bit off on me. I don't know why, but the candle here is actually delayed. On the 4 hour here, we can see that the next candle is looking a lot better, and there's another candle here compared to what we can see on Bitfinex. So we'll do a continuation pattern. That is great, but for now, we have not entered on BTC just yet, just on the alts that we're entering. So in this chart, we do see there's a significant amount of buy pressure coming into the market. There was a little more buy pressure than sell pressure on the way down, which signifies a little bit of volume accumulation, although not too much. But overall, within the momentum to the upside, we see there's strong levels of buy pressure overall throughout the chart. We do see a significant amount of sell pressure in this candle right here. Overall, looking not just in a single candle, but the general trend of the price action, we do see that there is more buy pressure than sell pressure, and you also have to make sure that you're looking at the recent price action, just maybe within this zone here, and we do see that there is a significant amount of buy pressure compared to the sell pressure right here. So I'm liking the overall look of the 4 hour. And then just talking about the 1 hour, looking at the actual breakout, we see that the 1 hour did close above. Now the 4 hour for me is going to be the the insurance in a sense of me getting a validation that the price is going to hold, because the 1 hour can deceive you a little bit because there can be some fake outs, but the 4 hour is a little less difficult to enter on fake outs because it takes a lot longer and it takes a lot more for the price to break above and hold a zone on the 4 hour than it is on the 1 hour. Obviously, compared to the 15-minute on the 1 hour as well, it's easier for the price to hold on the 15-minute on a shorter time frame. So the 1 hour does look pretty good. We've held one zone with a pretty big wick down, but overall we do see a significant amount of buy volume coming into the market. So we are very bullish. This is what is going to create the sentiment for the overall market. I personally like trading alts more than BTC because I can have sympathy plays within the market. So I'm looking at different alts and I'm just selecting the highest A plus setup out of the, let's say, 10 alts that I'm looking at, and I'll just trade the best possible setup that I have with the sentiment given by Bitcoin, if that makes sense. So that's how I personally like to trade. Yeah, of course I'll trade Bitcoin. That is obviously a asset that I do trade, but I really enjoy looking at alts and having sympathy plays, looking at BTC as the main leader in the market, and then using that momentum, that trend, that strength in the market to then play off with an alt to potentially capture the same direction, or even use it as a potential hedge when I actually do trade BTC. If some alts look like a good potential short. So now let's go on to the tools that we use, which is going to be comparisons of longs and shorts. I think today we will have a pretty big discrepancy. Look at the volatility we've had in the market, just in with the longs and shorts within the market. So this is going to be comparing the people who have entered long positions in the market compared to shorts. The BTC USD shorts will basically be the polar opposite of this chart, but it basically is going to show you, actually let's do a comparison. Not perfectly comparison because we do see an increase in shorts as well. Actually, I think I'm going to leave this on the chart. This is actually a pretty good situation to have in terms of the comparison here. I think that's a good thing to leave. But anyways, let's continue on with the analysis. We do see that the bulls have really started and coming in and buying up the pair. We see that there is more and more buyers coming into the market, and the previous resistance right here turns into a new level of support. That is great to see, and that does show a level of strength. Obviously, it's not going to be a similar type of technical analysis as we do on price action of assets, because this is just the amount of longs that were taking place in a single day on the Bitfinex exchange. But we can see the amount of buy pressure is increasing quite a bit. And then let's kind of look at the sell pressure here. I know it's a line chart, so it's not perfect, but we can still get a good understanding of what's taken place. Got a nice little resistance level right there. Let's try to keep it on the chart. So we got lower highs forming. We got a support there, which is all right, but we're just squeezing in. The shorts are definitely losing confidence because we're making lower highs, which is bullish for BTC. So we're seeing a lot of bullish pressure coming into the market. On the smaller time frames, not the daily, we have been making slightly higher highs and higher lows. So I think people are trying to time the market, thinking that it's overextended. That makes sense, but we're not seeing a huge influx of short sellers or sellers. We're just seeing a slow continuation of them. But overall, it does look like we're not seeing a major amount of volatility and momentum from the short sellers to pick up. It's just a slow, steady little increase, probably because people want to take profits. If they bought at the 8K, 7K range or somewhere around there, and they're slowly selling profits. But we're not seeing a major increase like this in sell pressure, so that is pretty good. Now talking about the coin farm, looking at different exchanges within the market. let's look at the different exchanges that we have available to us within our tool here. So on BitMEX, looking initially at the 24-hour shorts, we do see that there's a pretty big discrepancy. We have 54.6% of people that are long on BitMEX, where there is only 43.4% of people short. That's a pretty big discrepancy. On Binance, it's not too bad. It's 51.8% of people long and 48.2% of people that are short. Not a huge difference there. And on Bybit, there's not a huge difference. There's only 51.3% of people that are long and 48.7% of people that are short. So on BitMEX, which is the most significant exchange due to the volume, we see that there is a decent discrepancy between longs and shorts, with the bulls taking charge, gaining confidence within the market, thinking that the price will appreciate higher in the future. And then let's now look at the 1 hour time frame to see a little snapshot of the more recent price action. We see on the BitMEX exchange, we see that the bulls have taken control with 54.8% of people long and only 45.2% of people short. On more people buying than selling on the 1 hour chart on all three exchanges, and there is more people buying than selling on BitMEX, which is the largest exchange and the most significant exchange that we're using. And then there's not a huge discrepancy between Binance and Bybit for the amount of buyers versus sellers. So overall, the market looks bullish on the tools that we're using, as well as the price action that we're able to see on the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame. So we're looking still really good to be looking for longs within the market, looking for alts to attack, looking for those great opportunities that were breaking resistances, holding supports, seeing a shift in trend from seeing lower lows and lower highs to then higher lows and higher highs. I love descending trend lines if there's squeezes in a horizontal demand zone or something. So I love looking for those. So we will continue on and trek forth with our journey of looking for these prime opportunities within the alt market, using BTC as the market leader and sentiment. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the YouTube comment section below. If you don't know, if you are new to our BTC series or BTC analysis updates, we do them basically every single day. And we also have a community where we have cryptocurrency traders, stock traders, Forex, you name it. We have a community of, I think we're almost at 1,400 members, which is phenomenal. And we are all about trading, entrepreneurship, any real digital entrepreneurship or trading or investing and all that stuff. If you're interested in Performante and what we have to say or create content for, or anything really to do with kind of that genre or that sector, we definitely love to have you within our Discord. Absolutely free to join. We provide updates for you like this very often, every single day, as well as written content throughout the day to keep everyone updated. And if you're looking to understand how to trade in the markets, understand how to use technical analysis to speculate on price action, we have a one-on-one mentorship program that allows you to gain access to a plethora of videos, books, and other resources that will allow you to streamline the process of learning how to trade and navigate your way in the cryptocurrency market. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, happy trading.